Alright, this is the craziest story I've ever researched. It has to do with Taylor Swift, the President of the United States, and a mass shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, this is Crimes of Color. I'm David. Let's get into this.
A man is sitting on his bed with a rifle nearby. He believes he can hear the voice of God and is telling him to go to the Waffle House and do one thing: kill. Across town at a nightclub, James Shaw Jr. and a friend sit at a bar ready to leave. They're hungry, so they decide to head to the Waffle House on the way home. The man with the rifle pulls into the Waffle House parking lot and sits there for several minutes. He is going through self-conflict and deep turmoil. Just then, James Shaw and a friend pulls in. The diner is buzzing with early morning clubgoers and late night eaters. You can see James and his friend entering the Waffle House. Strangely, James could see the man in the truck was visibly wrestling with himself. He sensed something was wrong, but he dismissed it. The man urged to kill reaches a fever pitch. He exits the truck naked with only a jacket, raises the rifle, and shoots a young man in the back of the head. A Waffle House employee tries to rush him, but gets shot twice in the chest. The gunmen spray bullets into the diner from the parking lot. Customers fall to the floor and hide under tables. The girl seen in pink fakes her death and pins herself between the stools and the counter. The gunman reloads. Just then, James Shaw busts through the door, sending the skinny man flying. James beat the shit out of the gunman, rips the rifle away, and tosses it behind the counter. Defeated, the gunman runs, leaving his jacket at the scene, with balls flopping in the wind.
Sadly, 4 people lost their lives that night. 20-year-old Joe Perez, he was the one who was first shot in the back of the head. He was from Dallas, Texas. He was a contractor. He was only up in Nashville just for a job. Then there was 27-year-old Teron Sonderland. He was a Waffle House employee. He was the one that was trying to rush the gunman outside in the parking lot. 21-year-old Diebony Groves. She was a senior at Belmont College. And 23-year-old Aquila De Silva. He was an aspiring rapper. But many more lives would have been taken that night if it wasn't for the hero, James Shaw Jr.
The only thing James Shaw was thinking before fighting the gunman was getting back to his daughter alive. If it wasn't for his bravery and quick thinking, many more would be dead. He did suffer a bullet graze on his forearm and burnt his palms from grabbing the red-hot rifle barrel. After the events of that night, he was hailed a hero. There was events in his honor. He was even on Ellen, where he met Dwayne Wade and told his heroic story. Black Panther star, the late Chadwick Boseman, received an award at the MTV Movie Award, but graciously dedicated his trophy to the real hero, James Shaw. The police investigated the scene and found a green jacket with several mags in the inside pocket. Then they searched his truck. They found a check in the name of Travis Reinking on the center console. On the check, there was an address. He only lived 1.5 miles from the Waffle House in an apartment complex. They entered his apartment. He wasn't home. It was somewhat bare, not much furniture. On the kitchen floor laid an empty box of ammo. In the bathroom, drops of blood had fallen and coagulated on the rug, indicating that he did return home after the shooting. In the bedroom closet, they found more ammo, along with 2 more rifles. They also found a lockbox. Inside was a key fob to a BMW. It matched the BMW that was stolen from a car lot a few days ago, before the shooting. The man who stole it matched the description of Travis. The same day the car was stolen, the police attempted to pull it over, and Travis floored it. The chase was later called off because it posed too much risk to the public.
And just to think, if they would have pulled him over, there wouldn't have been a Waffle House shooting. They searched his apartment, didn't find anything, so they plastered his face all over social media. But when they looked into the background of Travis, what they found deeply disturbed them. This is Travis Reinking.
Travis was always a troubled youth. Since he was a teenager, signs of violence and mental illness came to the surface. In his early 20s in 2016, police were called to a Walgreens parking lot with complaints that some guy was having a complete meltdown. He was absolutely convinced that his girlfriend Taylor Swift, yes, this Taylor Swift, was stalking him, and when he went to confront her, she disappeared. In June of 2018, police were called to a motel. He stormed into a room of a single mother and her children. Police talked to him, But shortly, he was let go with a warning. In July, he drove to Washington, D.C. to have an unannounced audience with the president. When the guards denied Travis entry, he rushed the gate, they kicked his ass, and he was charged with unlawful entry. When he reached back home to Morton, Illinois, the state revoked his gun license, and he had to turn in his guns into the police station. His father later retrieved the guns and returned them to his son. In the fall of the same year, he moved to Nashville. Employed as a crane operator, he was later fired in April, claiming that his fellow employees were after him. 4 days before the Waffle House shooting, he went into a BMW dealership and helped himself to a test drive. The police quickly found the stolen car, gave him a short chase, and let him go to freedom. Because it was too dangerous to keep chasing him. After the Waffle House shooting, they plastered his face all over media. Then a call comes in from a construction worker.
There's a man that just walked through my job. Dark pants, dark shirt, wearing a backpack. He's got mud all over him.
He was caught, now to face the courts. At first, they labeled him incompetent to stand trial, but with public outcry, they went through with the trial. The family and friends of the victims were able to say their piece to the monster that took their loved ones' lives. Later in the trial, they came to a conclusion that the Waffle House shooting was racially motivated, especially when the deputies of the jail found a styrofoam food container with black racial slurs, the slurs with the hard R. The trial spanned 5 days, over 40 witnesses, but in just 30 minutes, the verdict came in.
Jury unanimously find Travis J. Reinking guilty.
The court audience rejoiced and consoled one another. Finally, after 3 years, this monster, known as Travis Reinking, is banished to the dungeon. Thank you for watching Crimes of Color. I hope to see you soon. I got a couple videos you can watch over here. See you next time. Peace.